Hey, how you doing? Justin here with another B.B King lick for you, and this one is mostly minor pentatonic, but the way it ends really clearly goes to the 4 chord up to the D. So let's get to a close-up and find out what I'm talking about. A little slower. So we're starting here with the 3rd finger in the 10th fret of the 2nd string, which is the root note A. We are in the key of A yet again for this lick. So we're starting off with that, and we've got a little bit of vibrato on that note. A little bit unusual to start with vibrato, but that's the way BB does it, and who's to argue? Sounds great. So then 1st finger goes down the 8th fret of the thinnest string, 3rd finger goes down the 10th fret, then a tone bend, straight to a blues curl on the 8th fret with the 1st finger. Then we put the 3rd finger down on the 10th fret of the 1st string, and then it rolls over onto the 2nd string. Note that this note is quite short. Then we've got 1st finger 8th fret thinnest string, 8th fret 2nd string, and we finish with this little dyad, which is 2nd finger in the 10th fret of the 2nd string, 3rd finger in the 11th fret of the 3rd string. What's really interesting to note here is this end here is very definitely outlining your D7 chord. I'm sure many of you recognize the first part of this lick as belonging to the A minor pentatonic scale. But this part, this note particularly, is not in the minor pentatonic scale. It's most definitely part of that chord, right? Now the rhythmic count for the lick is this: 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, 3, 4. Now usually you'd want to place this where the chords change to the 4 chord, okay? So in the blues where it changes from A7 to D7. But interestingly, it still sounds good over the A7 chord, these 2 notes. Shouldn't. So if you put it in the wrong place, it won't actually matter too much. One thing to note that's pretty important is that you don't let yourself get confused between the minor pentatonic and the B.B King blues box, okay? Because it's got a very similar shape. Here's the root note. If we're playing minor pentatonic, there's our root note with the 3rd finger. The B.B King blues box has the same shape. But there's our root note now with the 1st finger. Okay, it's a very different kind of a sound. It's very compared to this is very minor pentatonic. Whereas here, very different kind of a sound, even though it's the same shape. Here's the B.B King blues box, and here's the A minor pentatonic. A really interesting thing that you can add into your blues playing is using little dyads, that is 2-note chords that come directly from the chord shapes that you know, rather than just thinking of it as being specific to a particular lick that you've learned. You know, this one, using this, that's from the D chord. You might use this, or this, or that, because it's all just this big D chord here. If you were in A, like on an A chord, There's loads of examples you're going to find in blues where people just use the chord shapes rather than trying to get too technical about it. If you just think, oh, there's my D7 chord, so maybe I could use those two notes or those two notes. Just picking two notes from the chord and mixing it into your blues. Rather than trying to think like, oh, it has to be a particular lick or whatever, it's just visually look at a chord that you're playing over and see if you can pick one or two notes out of it and play them. Because it's probably going to sound pretty good if you get the chord and the notes that you play right, that is. If you play the wrong ones, it might sound a little bit weird. But as long as you know your chord grips and you know where you are in the blues, it's a really interesting thing is to try and hammer out some of those chord tones in the right place. Really add another dimension to your playing. So have fun with this lick, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.